And I am live for Moses Atoma versus Dillian Whyte Grand Arrivals. Okay, the Grand Arrivals, they consist of the arrivals of the challengers and the overall fighters on the card. Okay, they come to the venue and they express themselves. We will also be going through the face off because that also dropped today. So if you guys want to see that, it's happening with Counterpunch Boxing News. Okay, Mama Lou 1196 Counterpunch to you. What it do? The day's going pretty good. It's been tranquil. I had my cachava today, so I feel pretty sharp. Okay, I didn't drink my Magic Mind, but everything else is going fine. Great. If Atoma wins, he got a name on his record. If Whyte wins, he got some. I think it's a good test for both of them. May the best man win. Yeah, I think so too. I think that either person that wins today shouldn't have anything to feel bad about, or this fight based on Dillian Whyte's ability to get into shape, show that he wants to win. That tells it all, especially if it's a good fight. See, if it's a good fight, it warrants both fighters. See, if it's a landslide on either way, I think the person that wins significantly loses. What do I mean? Well, if Whyte goes in there and sparks out Moses and shows Moses he's never seen, that means everyone got it wrong. Everyone got it to the point where, hey, we thought Moses was this, but he was actually that. Okay, he was overrated, or so people call a hype job. Okay, now if Moses beats Dillian Whyte, though, Dillian Whyte would just look like a person that was already starched and way out of his prime. So at that point, Moses will be another guy that fought someone that didn't belong in the sport any longer. So we have to look at it like that. Okay. Squilla 50 in the building. Counterpunch to you. What's up, brother? Johnny W123. Hello. Hi from Ukraine. A7N. I think that's how you say it. Counterpunch to you, Ukraine in the building. Glad to see Dillian got into shape. We're in for a good one. Let's hope so. I think that Dillian Whyte knows what he's doing. I think that Dillian just, you think he's not there to lay down. He's not there just for just a payday. It can't be that Whyte. Dillian Whyte knows this is his last hurrah. And he's here to prove everybody wrong. This is going to be an exciting fight because Dillian Whyte is here to prove everybody wrong. And I'm going to tell you how the people that thought and think that he's going to lose thinks he is a loser. They put him on the B side of the equation. They put him on the B side of the equation. Dillian Whyte, I understand he ain't been in the ring with a formidable opponent for a very long time, a couple years at least. But Dillian Whyte was fighting for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World, which he deserved way before that. And he didn't do so well. Okay. But understand, he was not in the shape he's in now. Bill Keaveney in the building. Okay, let's see. If Atoma loses, Chris Jericho's brother, Ben Davison, is finished. Well, it's not going to look good for him. That great counterpunch. Bill Keaveney, great counterpunch. If Ben Davison, and if another fighter loses, especially if it's something that others feel that could be and should be corrected and instructed round throughout round. Let's say Moses Atoma gets knocked out in round 4 or 5, and he gets caught with something that should have. He's gonna be looked at bad because that's his last dude. Because you had AJ and We were really fooled by that because AJ was just knocking these dudes out. Otto Wylene, he broke his face into two places, stopped the fight. First stoppage of Otto Wylene's career. Not first loss, but first stoppage loss. You know, Davison was the shit. We was like, dude, Ben is really good. He collabs really good with AJ and this, that, and the other. Then he goes in there against Danny Dubois and gets sparked out. And everybody criticized him about rolling the dice, isn't it? Rolling the dice, isn't it? Right? So that's what happened in that situation. So if that happens, that's the first lightning strike. If this is the second, if this happens again, uh-oh, uh-oh. That's all I'm gonna say. Just hope it's a good fight and both come out after the fight. Yeah, I mean that's the overall general objective. If both fighters should come out safe and sound and healthy, in good sound mind, good spirit, good health, okay, and good mind. I hope that happens. Okay. So we are early, so that's good. We're letting everyone pile up in here. So you guys come in, hit the like button. It activates the algorithm, and the algorithm is what makes the world go round around the YouTube universe. Let's do it. I have a feeling that Whyte was picked to make Moses look good, keeping the hype train going. Well, I think they know that. Bill, I think they know that. I think Dillian Whyte knows based on his previous relationship with Queensborough, Queensberry. I think that he knows that he is a sacrificial lamb. He knows that he is selected for a reason. Why? Because he didn't look good on his last performance. What do you think these promoters do when it comes to choosing fighters? Do you think they just pull a name out of the hat? No, they review the last or some of the previous decent opponents. I mean, world level opponents. And what they do, they make an analysis of how good they did. And then how good they did, they put their name in the hat. If they did bad, their name is going in the hat. If they did terrible, their name is going into the hat maybe a couple times. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they looked at performance. In fact, that was a fight between two fighters. It looked like a fight from Friday night fights or Tuesday night fights on USA or ESPN2. It looked like that type of fight. It looked like the kind of fight that you see where two guys were just throwing. It wasn't someone that is on Dillian's level that was showing up the other person on a different level or a lower level. It wasn't that type of fight. It was a fight between two guys that were getting it in. That's what it was. And it looked very even. It looked competitive. And it didn't supposed to look competitive. Since it did look competitive, Dillian Whyte's name went in the hat. You see what I'm saying? If Dillian wins, this means that he's the poisonous cherry that was picked. Yeah. I mean, boxing, and here's the weird thing about boxing though. Boxing, someone has to lose. This ain't basketball or football because, they got the very next year in the next season, to make amends, to regroup and do it all over again. Boxing ain't like that. Boxing season is whenever the hell you get in there and you fight. That's your season. And you either have a winning season or a losing one. And that depends on when you win or when you lose. And boxing is one of those things where you only have, it's damn near like baseball. It's damn near like baseball. If you think about it, you have three strikes and you are out. Anybody that has 4 losses or 5 losses, if you exclude Derek Chisora, they're pretty much looked at as damaged property. Look at AJ. He's got 4 losses because he only had, right? He lost the 2 Usyk fights and Andy Ruiz, then Danny Dubois. Now people don't even really want to hear about AJ. Andre Ward is calling out AJ and nobody really cares. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I mean? So people don't really care about someone that lost past three times. That's why it's more like baseball. So it's very, very, very unapologetic. and very unforgiving. People will call you a bum on the drop of a dime. Let's drop that like button. Like, we got 9 likes in here with 24 people in this piece. Let's get 124. Let's get 200. Because Moses Atoma taking on Dillian Whyte, this is his coming out party, and then we're seeing what he's about, but it's carefully chosen. This isn't something like this isn't an I get Caballo. You know what I mean? They just didn't throw Moses in there with Dillian Whyte. I think they think and they picked Dillian Whyte because he didn't look good the last time. And you know what I mean? And that's the safe bet, because if he didn't look good the last time, there's a greater chance he won't look good this time. Counterpunch. Ward looking for a retirement pension. He's too late for that shit. He's way too late for that shit if he's looking for a retirement pension. I think he's looking for a reason back into the sport, because regardless of all the shit that SOG talks, because he's a good talker, he's a motivator, he's a speaker, he's a motivational speaker. He goes to places and motivates them, and he gives speeches and seminars. That's him. That's what he does. He likes his career to that degree on that end. But there's different ends to someone that is successful, especially a prize fighter, a champion, a former pound for pound fighter. That dude misses boxing. Don't get it twisted. Andre Ward misses the sport. He might tell you he don't, but he does. But he's not going to come back for just any fight someone that might beat the shit out of him. He don't want to do that and take that chance. Why? Because he's using this noggin. He's using this mente. He's using this brain. Because he ain't going to go in there and come up short against somebody that you'd hardly know. He ain't doing that. But what I'm telling you about Andre Ward is Andre Ward misses the sport of boxing, and I think he misses the idea, and he missed the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua before he said, I'm out. Why? Why do you think that he did that? You know why? This is my opinion why Andre Ward did that. Just talking about Andre SOG Ward for a minute. Andre Ward followed the shitty, unpopular path of Floyd Mayweather Jr. I'm sorry, Floyd, Money Mayweather Jr. See, everybody's trying to be like Floyd. Floyd. And Andre Ward tried that. He got the 2 tough fights with Kovalev. The first one I thought he actually lost, but I think the knockdown was the decision, but it was close. So it wasn't necessarily a robbery. I just think they gave the decision to the wrong guy, but he got it right the second time and he redeemed himself. Then he got the hell out of the boxing game. He got out of the sport, didn't he? And since he got out of the sport, he was like, ooh, now I can hang out with Mayweather. Now let me join ESPN and commentate and be like Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Well, it didn't happen that way, did it? No, because ESPN was going under, and look where they're at now. Now you can see why they got rid of Andre Ward, because I wondered, Lord, why the hell you get rid of someone that knowledgeable of the sport? But they did, because they were running out of money and they were running out of patience with boxing. So now they're getting out of boxing, right? So now Top Rank has left ESPN. That's why ESPN decided to cut ties with Andre Ward. But Andre Ward misses the sport, people. And he misses the sport. And here's the thing. My issue with Andre Ward is not his ability or how it used to be. It's ability of what he has new. What does he have to offer now at 41 years of age? Now, don't get it twisted. Andre Ward didn't pull a Martin McCauley, an Andy Ruiz, a Riddick Bowe, a James Toney. He didn't go that route. Andre Ward, I think, Andre has too much pride, I think, in himself and his image he pulled off Carl Froch, a Floyd Mayweather. All those dudes are not Vladimir Klitschko added. They're going to stay in shape. So he's in good shape. Layla Ali, we can add that. Holyfield. All of those guys, man, they are athletes that kept themselves intact after their career, which is very, very impressive. And it's very challenging because it's like there's nothing that's telling you or motivating you to do that besides doing that. It's called discipline. So he has maintained a certain level of discipline, staying in shape. You see him spar. He still spars with some of the best. But is he in fighting shape? No, he's not in fighting shape. Is he, could he compete with AJ? Well, at 41 years of age in 17, 2018, 2019, well, probably 18, he had a better chance. But then you had a different AJ too. So he still would have been fried, refried, double, triple fried, cooked by AJ because that AJ was undefeated. That AJ would have knocked Andre Ward out. He would have done it aggressively. But I don't know about the Andre Ward of today. However, this is a different AJ as well. So you have to look at it from both ends. AJ is now looking to just get all the money that he can. And I think what he's going to do, me personally thinking about what AJ's going to do, AJ's trying to make all the money. That's why he's taking on Jake Paul and getting that money and flying off and sailing off in the sunset with a yacht with a bunch of concubines and whores and chefs, and he's going to party until no tomorrow, and he's going to dock to refuel and to restock, and he's going to get back in the ocean. He's going to do that shit again. That's all he's going to do. I mean, that's it. Get rid of Ward. Just keep Bradley. Andre, what's up, brother? Salute, Kurt. Finally, we get to see Dillian Whyte box against a southpaw for the first time. We didn't get the Ortiz versus Whyte years ago, and it sucks. But this fight will tell us a lot. Well, it's still a bummer, though, Andrew, because I wanted to see that fight because you had two guys that were big, that were strong, that were aggressive. And I think the fight would have been I think it would have been a classic fight. And that just shows you this is the reason why this is the sport that I love that I hate so much. Because fights like that should have happened. And you know what? I think in another era they would have happened. I think these fighters are becoming soft. I think they're becoming too business conscious, and see, I'm going to tell you again, I don't want to blame Floyd for everything. But I do blame his mentality, his tactics. I think a lot of people tried to adopt that and they shouldn't have. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have done that. Let's see. Kurt, Leo Atang is going to be bigger than talent than Anthony Joshua. I doubt that. I doubt that. I've seen the kid. Let me tell you something. A Mike Tyson, and Anthony Joshua, those guys like that, Manny Pacquiao. You just don't. Sometimes stars are made, but then sometimes these guys, I don't see him. I don't see it yet. I don't see it. Great illustration, Punch. I mean, AJ's looking to retire, but I think AJ still has a lot left. I think AJ has some anger issues, though, to be real with you. I think he still wants to pop somebody and then punch him in the face. I still think he wants to do a lot of damage to a lot of people. You know what I mean? He may be on an elite level done because I think what's all said and done is what's all said and done. See, with AJ, he's fought Usyk. Redeemed himself about with Andy Ruiz. He's fought Parker. He's fought Dillian Whyte. He's fought Povetkin. He's fought Pulev. When Pulev only had one loss to Klitschko. He's done a lot in his career, and he has a great body of work. But he's just not the best of the generation. He's just not. But here's the thing, best of the generation versus best of the three champions that we had present. I think the scenario was a special thing. The scenario, the debate, it was interesting because you had Tyson Fury. He was in exile, doing coke, slamming whores, drunk, in a mess, living in less, trying to pass another test, depressed, right? Then you had a Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder was the WBC champ, which he made himself popular as being being the dude. So, he's the bad guy. So, and he played his part good. It's just we never seen a fucking fight. So we haven't seen these fights. We haven't seen Tyson Fury and AJ or AJ versus Wilder. And if we see those fights, we would be, I think, satisfied for that particular era. That era is still unfulfilled, and I've said enough about that. If it's a draw, then Atoma's stock will drop a little. Yes, it will. And Skrilla 50, I think it'll drop based on the whole hype, you know, the buzz, all that shit will kind of fizz away. See, it will fizz away. See, if Moses loses to Dillian Whyte or he gets a draw, because what happens is, let's be real, if it's a draw, people, it probably won't be a draw. It'll probably be Moses got his ass beat by decision because he couldn't knock Dillian Whyte out, which would be disappointing. So it would probably be a win for Dillian Whyte, and it will be a controversy, and people will say robbery, and it probably will go the wrong way, especially if Dillian Whyte does a lot better than he's supposed to do by getting into Moses' ass, and Moses just gets beat, but they don't want to take that O and let it go. So what they do, they give it a draw so he can come back to redeem himself. That's what happens. So, I mean, because if it's a draw, that means Dillian Whyte whooped his ass on paper, unofficially, because they would not make it official because the politics that be won't allow it to be made official. So let's just call it what it is. Understand? Well, this is boxing. We know about boxing. Gangsters, mobsters, corruption, you know. It won't be a draw. I can't see it. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If he beats Moses Atoma and he beats Moses Atoma and he beats Moses Atoma, pretty much all Moses Atoma has to do is stand up to win if it's a decision. Think about it. Let's look at it like this. We've seen it. We've seen it before. We've Johnny Fisher versus Dave Allen, the same shit. Dave Allen was that guy that coming back to the sport. Dillian Whyte is that guy that hasn't been in the sport for a while due to whatever. And we got a guy that's up and coming. In fact, Johnny Fisher was supposed to be the opponent on the matchroom end for Moses Atoma. He just come up short because he got his ass whooped by Dave Allen, a guy that he's supposed to beat. Think about what I'm saying. So if he's supposed to beat him and he's supposed to got him out of there, but he didn't, yes, his stock will drop. Yes, Moses Atoma's stock will drop too if he gets in the same situation. Okay. I saw the face off and didn't like White's demeanor. I think he lost already. He has submitted to defeat and he talked no trash. Quan Big Guns. I seen a little bit of that, but I stopped it because I wanted to see it with you guys. So let's see what really takes place here. Shout out to the zone. You know what? I'm gonna say shout out to the zone when they start putting that shit on for free pay-per-view, because that's what everybody that chose the zone, that chose to rock with the zone, that chose to promote and support the zone, that's what we had in our domes. The zone was pay-per-view less. That's what we thought. It was supposed to be the answer to pay-per-views because we were tired of paying all this money every so often for fights that don't let up to its appeal. That's what we supposed to solve from the zone. So I will say shout out to the zone when the zone handles and owns its own. And they do what they say they're going to do. Pay-per-view screwed. See, we still haven't had a press conference. Yeah, they're getting it together. They're getting it. Yeah, you know what? That is true. So I guess they're going to do all that today. And, you know, I mean, and that's another thing. That's another thing. Quan Big Guns, good point. Good point, bro. Why the fuck have we not seen press conferences? You know what I mean? There was no first press conference. There was no nothing. You know what I mean? I don't like that. What about to get his ass knocked out? Whyte about to. If he does, I think people will then be satisfied with the outcome because that's exactly what's supposed to happen. Whyte does not supposed to win this fight at all. Are you serious? Usyk would tire Miller's fat ass out. Moses working on his uppercuts. Let's be real here. Whyte will do well to get past the third round. Atoma is uncomfortable with only seeing Whyte in pressures during fight week. Whyte does have a sneaky left hook. Well, he does. I mean, if he catches him with it and he has no chin, his ass is out, and there's nothing that nobody can do about it. See, that's one thing that Whyte can do is take it in can take this fight and control with his own hands. He can take this fight to Moses. It's strange that there hasn't been a press conference. They just don't believe in. They don't believe in Dillian Whyte. They don't believe in him. They don't give a shit about him. It's not. If this was Johnny Fisher and Johnny Fisher would have beat Dave Allen and Johnny Fisher would have been the guy that fights Moses Atoma. Oh yeah, they would have been four or five. It would have been one, and it would have been. It would have been some. It would have been a bigger fight. White is listed as an underdog by the bookies. That's an easy bet to place on him. Moses will evaporate if White's KO Atoma like Povetkin did White. Kurt the Can Man. Yeah, I mean, if he knocks out Atoma, he'll be done. He'll be done, and you know what? But understand something. The pressure is on Atoma. I feel it's not on White. White don't give a shit. White is like, I'll take the fight, man. I'll take it. I'll fight. I'll fight him. You know, he's everybody talks about him like he's the next Mike Tyson. So you know, I want to take this guy. I'll take the fight to him. You know, so I take you. You know, understand me? I'll take him. You know what I'm trying to say? I'll take the fight. I don't even know how I'm getting paid. You know, it's just tell me to fight. I'll fight. Yeah, I'll fight. I'll fight. Crap. Like damn. I'll fight this guy, man. I'll fight him. Damn, Dillian. It's crazy. Yeah, Dillian White's a trip. Dillian White's perverted too. He always has these. Him and what's his name? What's IFL TV? What's his name? I forget his name. Big tall guy, British dude. I forget his name. But anyway, he's always showing like those Coogan Cassius. That's it. I know somebody would say it. Yeah, Coogan. Couldn't remember that word right now. Coogan Cassius. Makes you wonder why Frank is willing to make these risky fights because he doesn't see them as that risky. He thinks and he believes in his fighters. You got to give it to Frank though. Frank is with the right opponents, he can make fights happen and you know, and it just showed you why I'm glad Turkey came around. I'm glad that Turkey came there and came to both of those guys from Matchroom to Queensberry and just was like, look, you guys need to really cut the shit. I got the bread for most of these fights, especially the biggest fights to be made, and we will make them happen. You motherfuckers just stay out of the way, and we will be okay. And that's what he said. And I think Turkey just pretty much told him, and not in those words, but he told him something around that way. Like, look, you guys work together because you guys have the fighters. And you know something? I got to say this based on that. Five versus five. That really woke you. That should have woke everybody up. The five versus five should have woke everyone up because it showed you that it's not about us talking and predicting and gossiping and speculating and assuming and guessing and all this other bullshit. It ain't about that at all. It's not about any of that. What it's about is wanting and seeing fighters fight. Because popular opinion, perception, can ruin any possible fight. And that's how people call them like upsets. Like, oh my God, no. It's just like we think we're so smart as individuals because we seen these guys fight other guys and we just think that, oh, well, this guy is better than this guy just by default, just because. AJ can't lose to Dubois. Dubois tapped his ass and beat him up bad. And maybe he might have underestimated him. It don't really matter. He shouldn't have. Because if he was that many levels above Danny Dubois, he would have been able to adapt. And we learned a lot about stuff like that. But then let anyone else say it. We wouldn't even need to see Danny Dubois versus AJ because it would be kind of like a waste of time because we already know who's going to win, right? We always do that. We need another 5 versus 5. I mean, we need to see who is better and who is actually better besides who we think is better. Who we think is better don't really matter because what we've learned that these fights that we think are going to come out this particular way goes nothing like we think they're going to happen. So guess what? We need to sit back and want them to happen because we need to know by now and humble ourselves mentally that we don't know every fucking thing. When I say we, I'm talking about me too. Why? Because we can predict and again and all this other stuff, but until they actually fight, we're not going to know who happened. Shout out to Roy Jones Jr. Yeah, he did. He tapped his ass. Man, Danny Dubois beat AJ up. And it's almost like he beat him up because, you pretty boy ass wannabe motherfucker, you Polo and Hummer and Beats by Dre. I don't got none of that shit. And guess what? I'm mad and I'm jealous and I'm going to beat all that shit out of you and I'm going to take it out on your ass. And that's exactly what Danny Dubois did. Danny Dubois beat him for every time that he wasn't mentioned along with the names of AJ because he wasn't. Everybody was AJ this, AJ that, AJ this, AJ that. Everybody talked about AJ. Nobody talked about Danny Dubois. And Danny Dubois showed him, hey, somebody's going to talk about me today. We may not be talking about him in the future, but we were talking about him definitely that time. And get exactly Avatar Dillian. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in this fight. When somebody throwing punches, man, you don't know what happens. Wrapped his ass might be the wrong choice of words. Well, I mean, I'm not even in the homosexual realm, so I don't have to say pause every damn time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't, pause. You know what? No. No, he wrapped his ass. Where I come from, wrapping his ass means, man, he wrapped his ass. He got punched. You know what I mean? We grown people here. That's that new bullshit generation that wants to make everything anti-gay or homosexual or whatever. I have nothing against any of it because I don't care because it's not a part of me. So I don't have to involve that in every type of situation. So when you hear people do that, it's like they're too worried about sounding gay. Bro, whatever you say is what you meant. If you're not smart enough to know what you meant, explain what you meant. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I'm sleeping on Hergovic. I think Philip Hergovic actually, I think he got a bad rap. I mean, for one, he talked too much shit though. He did talk too much shit. So he talked up a good game, but he couldn't come in there and finish the deal. He thought if I land a few right hands, okay, well, more than a few right hands, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna make Danny Dubois quit like we've seen Danny Dubois quit. But Danny Dubois only quit against people that he really couldn't beat. You know what I mean? Like Joe Joyce shattered his eye and he couldn't really hurt Joyce, so he quit. Alexander Usyk is Usyk, so he couldn't hit Usyk like he thought that he could hit Usyk. And then when he thought that he hit Usyk safe, they called it a foul. And I think he's mentally not strong. That's just something about Daniel. And he quit. Okay, he whipped three asses back to back. Then he got in there with the same person, and guess what? His ass quit again. So guess what? There is quit in Danny Dubois. But if he can punch you back and hurt you, he will. Oh, honestly though, if you look deeper with Danny Dubois, if he's a person that can't see that he can hurt you and he mentally breaks, you know what you call that though? Where I'm from? A fucking bully. Yeah, think about it. Danny Dubois, as long as he's beating the shit out of you, he will fight you all day. And see, Jarrell Miller was hitting him with shots, and he kept fighting him. But I think that was a different type of fight. That was a fight or flight. Because if Jarrell Miller would have beat his ass, Jarrell Miller would have been a millionaire right now because it would have been Jarrell Miller and Hergovic, then Jarrell Miller and AJ, and that shit would have been lit. Think about Jarrell Miller. If Jarrell Miller would have beat Danny Dubois and then tapped Hrgovic's ass and beat Hrgovic, and then because that was the next up, because that was the IBF, he would have been the IBF heavyweight champion of the world. So AJ had to fight him. And now if AJ wouldn't have fought Jarrell Miller, he was ducking Jarrell Miller. He just didn't want to fight him no more. That would have been a fact. But that's how that would have went. You now got to fight loudmouth, hard, brickhead ass, refrigerator built Jarrell Miller. And guess what? He would have had so much shit to talk. That fight would have been so crazy. You know what I mean? Hrgovic is hilarious. Watch his interviews. Jazzy jabs. Let me tell you something else. Because it's about to start here. But the build up between Jarrell Miller and Filip Hrgovic would have been sick. Think about it. Let me impersonate for a second. Let me cook. This would have been Hrgovic. Hrgovic would have been, Jarrell Miller. He talks a lot of shit, but he can't stay in the gym. He needs to stay at Burger King because he's 500 pounds and he doesn't know when to stop eating. I tell people, the loudmouths need food, need something to stop them from talking. So Jarrell Miller feed him some cheeseburgers, and I think he can shut up, and then he'll get fat because he was 304, 500 pounds against Dubois. And I think that was just absolutely disgusting. And I seen him run out of gas in that fight, and I think that's the reason why he can't deal with me, because Daniel Dubois has no balls. So we know this because he's quit already. So, Jarrell Miller, he's a cheeseburger eating fat bitch. Here's Jarrell Miller. Well, first of all, you need to worry about yourself. You need to worry about yourself, punk. Yeah, you need to worry about, would you high right now? Would you sound slow? Would you punch drunk, bitch? Would you punch drunk? Would you punch drunk? He gonna push him and shove him and shit. Would you punch drunk? Yeah, you sound like you slow. Would you been smoking that weed? Would you been on some shit? Huh? What's up? Yeah, you called me 500 pounds. It's gonna be 500 pounds in your ass. Right? Bro, that would have been so lit. You'll kind of feed me. You'll need to eat more hamburgers. You need to shut the fuck up talking to me. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot to say. You didn't say it to my face. You didn't say it to my face when you was right beside me. You didn't say it to my face when you was right beside me in the days of reckoning. I was the one that was running that show. You didn't say nothing though. You would love to see you on my channel for an interview. Yeah, why not, bro? I would love to. Just hit me up on Instagram. Tell me when you're ready. I'll do an interview with you. Kurt, who wins? Filip Hrgovic versus Fabio Wardley. Jeez. You know what? I'm going to go with Hrgovic. And I'm going to tell you why. Hrgovic is a better boxer than Fabio. I think a lot of people are. But Hrgovic all of Dubois shots. And I don't know if Fabio can hit harder than Dubois. But we do know Dubois' punches did not or droppage. So I go with Hrgovic. Hrgovic's taller, he's got longer reach, and he can reach out and touch Fabio. And I think Fabio, if Fabio can't take him out with that equalizer, that Wilder Jr. punch, I think he's going to be in for a long night if he don't get stopped, because I think Hrgovic will be able to stop him. I think it will be a banger though. But I give it to Hrgovic because Fabio Wardley, he looked like he was on his last leg against Justice Hooney. And Justice Hooney, 12 fights? A lot. But he was chinny. Justice Hooney's a good fighter, but he's and Kevin Ledena hurt him and buckled him. And Kevin Ledena's just a shitty finisher. And we found that out about Kevin Ledena in the Danny Dubois fight. Well, he dropped his ass 3 times talking about it's a knee injury. That's bullshit. He hurt Dubois. He had Dubois' ass he had Dubois where Dubois never been before. Wardley versus Ruiz would be good. I think Wardley could beat Ruiz if he doesn't try to trade. Because what'll happen with Ruiz can counter quick, but he has to be close enough to counter. So those fight breakdowns are very interesting. I want to see Fabio in there with a lot of these guys. I would love to see him in there with Jarrell Miller. Let's run that. Let's run that fight because that fight's supposed to happen, just like the AJ versus Miller fight's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. He is. You are just wrong, mate. Andy Steelbox. Jim, off your head. Man, Hergovic is a good fighter. Kurt, Justice Hooney versus Jermaine Franklin. That would be a great matchup because Justice Hooney, bigger, taller, longer. I don't know about stronger, chinny, fighting Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine fight. And I think Hooney could beat him if he doesn't get caught with a good shot from Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin's not a big puncher, but he's a decent puncher. Remember, he's a heavyweight. Don't shy away from any heavyweight punch. If they catch you in the right angle, in the right distance, they can put your ass into outer space. Just because they're not known for it, don't mean it won't land out. Don't mean it can't land. Don't mean they don't have the ability. A lot of times, punches that are thrown, if you think about defense and offense, people always talk about the punches that connected, but we never talk about the punches that almost connected. Let me give you an example, a punch I think about all the time. If we go back to 2015 when Manny fought Floyd. You remember when Manny had Floyd on the ropes and then Manny, like, he came forward and he sprung forward with his left hand, but that motherfucker barely missed Floyd. It was this looping overhand left. And and it shows you how fucking gifted this bastard is. You know what I mean? Because he knew that punch wasn't gonna hit him. And somebody, and I'm gonna tell you, type shit like that, people look at and get a false mindset about themselves. Look at AJ. AJ thought that right hand wasn't gonna land in the Dubois fight. Remember? He thought that was gonna miss him, just like Floyd missed that left hand from Manny. Think about it. AJ looks up to Floyd. Tyson Fury looks up to Floyd. And it just shows you, though, with Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, guys are not even heavyweights. How many people looked up to those guys and they weren't heavyweights, including heavyweights? Think about that. So we had, okay, hold on. Here's about to start. I'm going to pause that for a second.
Coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Yumnam Santosh Singh.
Here comes Ruben Santos. This is a tough ass for him. He is. Not necessarily because of his record, it's because I think Muhammad Ali is getting better and better.
Okay, I've never seen him. All right. Kurt AJ getting his ass beat, but he isn't so marketable as a fighter still. That shit's crazy. That just shows you how popular his ass is, you know. And I ain't hating. I mean, that's a good thing. I think people should support fighters. I don't care how much they get their ass whooped. If they still rock with him. If you still rock with a guy and you like that guy and it's not all about the reason he's just a boxer or a good fighter. It's almost like a basketball player and they're telling them you have no other gifts. Remember the white chick that told LeBron James, shut up and dribble? Just shut up and dribble, right? Shut up and dribble. Well, I think there's other attributes. So if you like AJ because of his character and him being a role model, I think that you should rock and stay rocking with AJ. You know what I mean? Tyson Fury was undefeated, and people were starting to hate him because he felt that he was the best, and he never been beaten before. So, who has Hergovic beaten? Hergovic has beaten Zilli Zhang.
He does look quite heavy set, doesn't he? He looks quite thick on the shoulders and arms, doesn't he?
And I think that helps him. Like I say, it hasn't been stopped in his 6 defeats, so maybe that helps him out in that department. Look, he has got it all to do, though, but seize that moment, get in there and give it your all.
Okay, I think someone's got to get him off the stage because I'm going to throw it back to Thomas Triver to get Muhammad Ali down.
And now let's welcome
Did you watch that boring Zhang fight?
He is undefeated with 4 victories. Here is
I did. AJ gave British boxing back its credibility after Fury failed drug test. I don't think Fury failing the drug test was that bad, though. I just think people hate Fury because Fury beat the shit out of Wilder. And if you were once upon a time a Wilder fan, yeah, you would hate Fury. But here's the thing, though. It's not like Fury cheated on Wilder at the time. See, the way people hate Fury, I don't get it. You hate Fury as though Fury tested positive in the fights with Wilder. He didn't do that. So for you to bring up, oh, he's a drug cheat, he's a cheater, he's a this and that. That's just like Jarrell Miller beats the shit out of somebody like Usyk. And then people are like, oh, I hate Miller, I hate Miller. I mean, maybe you just were a Usyk fan and Miller beat him. Give Hrgovic someone like Atoma. I think that would be a good fight. Adelaide isn't beating Hrgovic, get real. You know, David Adelaide, though, speaking of him for a second, he's that dude can crack, bro. You don't want to get hit with shots like that from a dude that big. He throws big shots. Big man, big shots. Thunderous shots, man. If Wilder fought Fury 10 times, Fury wins all 10. I don't know about that. I think if I would, you know what now though, looking at both of them now, I want to just to see if Wilder still has the punching power. I have some videos coming with these dudes. They are, you know, I got a video coming on Wilder here in a minute, so stay tuned for that. So I don't want to talk too much about it, but Wilder's very interesting. He's an interesting cat. Head shape is crazy on this one.
Of knockout, ladies and gentlemen, here is the former world title challenger, Abraham Supernova.
Abraham Supernova. I gotta keep muting it or something like that because of the damn music. This Hrgovic nonsense needs to stop. The Klitschko era was supposed to be dark and depressing. Fury was supposed to be the beginning of a new era, but Fury blew it. I mean, listen, Fury stayed out of the ring 2.5 years. He came back in 2018, and he fought Deontay Wilder, which was the current WBC heavyweight champion of the world that was in negotiations with AJ that couldn't go anywhere. So he stepped in, came in. Everybody thought that he was going to get knocked out, and he didn't. So he look, why are we hating on Tyson Fury like that? I know Tyson Fury has his things, but Tyson Fury has done what he's done. I think people just forget shit. We forget that he did that in that type of condition. He was able to outbox Wilder in that type of condition. Then he stopped Wilder. His claim to fame is Vladimir Klitschko and Wilder. That's his claim to fame. That's his two biggest, you know what I mean, from one era to another era. The Klitschko era at the end of that era, and then, boom, the Wilder era in this era that is leaving because we're going into another era. So we had the Klitschko era, then we had the Tyson Fury, Wilder, AJ era, and then that era is leaving. It's fleeting. So this end of this year, next year, that era will be done because it's 2015, every 10 years, right? 2015 to 25, done. Every 10 years, we start another one. 2026 is in the mix. Boom, we got another era. So from 2025 to 2035, we're going to have a whole new slew of heavyweights. Okay? So that's what it is. Yeah, he beat Chisora 3 fucking times. So what? Big deal. That just shows you, you know, Derek Chisora is just a guy that was too legit to quit. That's all. And yes, Chisora fought damn near everybody. You know what I mean? If Chisora would have fought, it's lack of, because, I mean, there's some guys that he didn't fight, but it's a lot of guys that he did. Remember, he fought Caballero. He fought Caballero, went all the way with Caballero. So Caballero couldn't stop him. So that tells you.
Magazine, he is the former WBA featherweight champion of the world, Raymond Savage Ford.
Oh, yeah, Ford fighting, isn't he? Yeah, see, he's a good fighter, man. I like Ford, man. Now, Ford versus Ball, I think they could run that back. That was a pretty good fight. I mean, it was some back and forth action that actually was the closest of having any win for Matchroom, right? Matchroom got that ass wrapped, sparked. It was a skunk performance. But I mean, Ray was actually, that was cool. 5 versus 5 was lit though. I liked it. Wilder got knocked out. I'm like, damn. Again? Jake Paul, Joshua, who wins? I'm not even going to answer that question. Prime Wilder was with Mark Breland. I do believe that. Listen. If Wilder is done, if he's finished, if he's no more, if he's obsolete right now, right? The motherfucker that once was a very dangerous person. And I think Wilder was a whole different person. That's why it sucked, because he didn't have to have the skill if he could drive that right hand up the center line. And if you're anywhere near that center line and you get caught, you're going to get chinned. That's what I wanted to see. What happens when Wilder catches you? Bow! No, Wilder. Yeah. Kurt, who wins? Moses Atoma versus a prime Luis Ortiz. You ask me that all the time. And let me tell you, a Moses Atoma versus a prime Luis Ortiz. You got two southpaws versus each other. Moses, I think the speed will still be a factor for Luis Ortiz, but Luis Ortiz is very, very skilled. He's good with timing. And people, I think we underestimate him. We all talk about his age because of how old he is now. This man is still trying to get a fight. It's sad. He's still trying to get a fight. If I'm Jake Paul, I would want to fight someone like Luis Ortiz just to give him some money, bro. Give him $10 million and let him get the fuck out of the sport. You know what I mean? The only problem is he'll fuck around, get knocked out by somebody like Luis Ortiz. See, that's somebody dangerous. That's somebody that will knock your face off. And then you can't tell him to take a dive. He won't know what that is. Dive, dive, get dive. Get it. Nadando. Nadando. You think you're talking about swimming. You know what I mean? Adelaide. Damn, look at Adelaide, a big motherfucker.
I think it's a fantastic, real good.
That's a big dude, bro. You get hit by Adelaide, bro, it's over.
And I think the move to Adam Booth.
Look, when you physically, you see somebody physically capable of beating your ass, that changes your whole mindset. You see David Adelaide, boy, that's a big dude. He looks like one of those prison cats that just did about 3 years and been hitting that iron and then came out, then essayed a couple dudes. Get down or lay down, Hey, Kurt, how do you think? Hi, Kurt. Do you think Usyk drops Parker? I don't know. Because I just think Parker has a different mentality than... That fight won't be what people think it's going to be, bro. If Parker fights Usyk, or should I say, if Usyk fights Parker, that'll be a different fight.
It's nothing special, so, I think once you get to heavyweight, everyone's as dangerous as each other, so, yeah, good opportunity came and I took it.
He's done a few interviews this week, as you have as well. He seems quite dismissive of you, like he was of Daniel Dubois. Do you think he might be overlooking you?
I know he is, but it don't mean nothing, right? Or maybe he's just portraying that. He's had a full camp. He's been losing all of this weight because he obviously knows what I bring to the table, so they can talk a good game, but obviously Saturday night, we'll see what he's really about.
Thank you very much, Big D. Good luck.
Big D!
And now let's welcome the defending champion from Zagreb, Croatia, a 2016 Olympic bronze medalist, now with a professional record of 18 wins, just one defeat, 14 of his 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Ranked number 6 by Ring Magazine. This Saturday, he will be the reigning and defending WBO International Heavyweight Champion, Philip El Animal Hrgovic.
Oh shit. Damn. Bloop. But I like that. I like that song though. That's dope.
Nothing from him. We didn't know the training situation. I think he still went
Philip
start.
Higro.
Start from that
El
day.
Animar.
Okay, he looked good that night. The engine looks okay. And now we're training the big man. And I think that's the thing.
Luis Mazda 9. Hi, long time don't see you.
With boxing, especially with the
ACDC.
and I think he
Adelaide
took
can
certain
cause an
things
upset behind him. Let's hope he goes well.
recently and sort of took it for granted. And I think that's the thing is, wow, he didn't box bad. I didn't think either, to be fair, but he boxed well. But he ran out of gas like he did against Chang as well. Also. And I think either the new fight against Jones, and he boxed well under pressure.
What would happen if Dubois fought Parker when it was supposed to go down? We'll never know. We'll never know because, all we know is Dubois getting his ass whooped. That's what I thought anyway. So we could think, well, maybe he wasn't what we thought he was. Maybe he was.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back here. I'm enjoying to be here. I enjoy to box here. And thank you, Saudi Arabia, for hosting me and for your kindness. And can't wait for Saturday.
You can't wait for Saturday. I just spoke to David Adelaide. He thinks you might be overlooking him.
No, I'm not overlooking him. I did a hard training camp. So I did everything what I normally do. So I'm ready for everything.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Our next two fighters competing Saturday in a super featherweight.
Okay, cool. All right. Your channel is very good. Well done on the success of your channel. You've always been good and going a long time is proof of pudding. Rob Wood 8331. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I think about it. I think about the channel and I think, well, one of the best things that happened or one of the best decisions that I've made. Probably this is the best. Shout out to Lamar Sane, my homeboy that just talked me into making it because we actually started it together. But, it's crazy. I never thought it would get this big and it's growing and it's still growing. And I love talking to you guys. I love making videos. I love what I do. I'm proud of the media era that I was a part of. And when I mean the media era, I'm not talking about the Dante's Boxing Nations or the Boxing Egos or any of that. Even the T Street controversies. Those guys they were around longer. I started 10 years ago. Those guys have been around 15 years plus. Whereas guys like Counterpunch Boxing News, my channel, Ring IQ, Showbiz the Adult, IOTBA Boxing. Who else is in that category that was there? A few others that were in this realm of, boxing media. The YouTube boxing community was lit. You know what I mean? So I do agree. I am thankful for you guys coming to watch it. Even though boxing has slowed down over the years, it's not, AJ's not as big and other, like Dillian Whyte's not as big, but boxing is still around. And I'm glad you guys are coming here because, we got people now, like Carl Froch and Sugar Shane Mosley and Timothy Bradley. A lot of these guys are former boxers and they found out like, shit, these YouTube dudes are making some fucking money, aren't they? So let's do what they do. They used to look at us like we ain't shit. They used to look at us, like Ellie sit back reporting. He's one of those guys that's been around forever too. He got over 1 billion views. That's crazy. Just got over 1 billion views on his channel. That's crazy. I've almost got 100 million. And something, it's like, I look at that and I'm thinking to myself, like, well, hey, people like, oh, you should get over 100,000 subscribers. Well, hey, that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm almost there. And the views, it's about the views that reports the news, because the views reflect on what you guys see and what you guys watch and how much you come to this channel. You know what I mean? Exactly. Subscribers mean you could have 200 subscribers and only 10 million total views. You know what I mean? Dude, I almost got 100 million views. So why would I care about someone that's bragging about subscribers? So just let that sink in. So anytime you look at someone in comparison, which you shouldn't do, but people do. Okay, it's a very competitive sport, and based on this sport, we are media of this sport. So it's competitive, so therefore we are competitive. Yeah, and my subs are organic. They're nobody that I bought, that I begged, that I pleaded. No, you guys came here because you wanted to fucking be here. You guys are here because you want to be here, not because I beg you to or I pay you to. No, hell no. What's the point? I'm gonna go broke just to make someone or make myself look. No, no, no. It's none of that. So it is what it is. But no, I thank you guys for rocking with me a long time, and it's gonna keep going until I drop dead, more than likely. Because I'll be 50 years old, 60, 70. Oh, this is Kurt DeVille with Counter Bunch Boxing News, and I have some new news. Kurt's definitely the best character in YouTube boxing. My only thing about this channel is constant spamming videos of gossip level news. Well, you got to keep it spicy with other people, because one thing we learned about gossip with boxing, boxers have lives too. So what happens in boxers' lives affects their performance. You have to remember that. So if boxing, okay, if YouTube was around in 1990 or 1989, do you think if Mike Tyson got convicted of SA, do you think nobody would talk about it? Of course they would, because it's a boxing channel concerning a boxer. That's why. You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather, what's going on with him? Or, Sugar Shane Mosley, what's going on with him? If someone dies, you're going to talk about it. That's something that happened in their life. Death, just because, see, and I don't even believe just because boxers retire, you should stop talking about them too. That's wrong. That's flawed. In fact, if you're talking about fighters that once were, they always are with me. You see what I mean? So I'm going to talk about boxers as though they are and forever be who they always will be. They will always be legends. Julio Cesar Chavez will always be a legend. Muhammad Ali will always be a legend. Joe Louis will always be a legend. Oscar De La Hoya will always be a legend. Sugar Ray Leonard will always be a legend. Roy Jones Jr. will always be a legend. Floyd Money Mayweather will always be a legend. So we will always talk about boxing news when it comes to those that are concerned and involved with boxing. It doesn't have to be the current or this or the, no. It's whoever is whoever. It could be Jack Johnson, right? It doesn't matter. Kurt, you should do mock up pressers of fighters that never happened, man. Your boxing impressions are golden. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, Mickey the Tool. I'm good. I'm very good, man. I feel great. I don't like the lack of respect some old fighters show to current fighters. It should go both ways. Well, I think so. I think that is a revolving door, though, XK Shots. Because you have fighters of today that will just disrespect fighters of yesteryear. That's why people don't like Floyd, because Floyd, yes, I'm better than Muhammad Ali. Yes, I'm better than everybody. I'm better. I'm better than everybody. Right? So, yeah, people don't like that. But then again, you got guys like, Lennox Lewis. I will whoop everybody. You're supposed to think that way because that's your mindset. I believe in retirement. Spence will play exhibition, pick up court basketball with Bud on cam. That's cool. It doesn't involve him taking damage, so I'm good with that, I like Errol Spence. I just didn't like his fans. I didn't like Errol Spence's fans. Errol Spence's fans and his trainer, his former trainer, Derek James, they were a pain in the ass. They were. Because they were like, they didn't want Errol to fight these guys, and they thought Errol was fucking bigger than the sport. They thought he was fucking better than people. You know, Derek James and the fans of Errol Spence, and you heard people talk about the skin complexion of Terrence Crawford. Bro, that's absolutely foul. And these are from black people, not anyone else. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You're a black dude that's saying Terrence Crawford's not marketable because he's dark-skinned. You know, somebody tried to say that about me. They tried to say I didn't like Deontay Wilder because he was dark-skinned. And I like AJ because AJ's light-skinned. I said, dude, you're fucking mad. You're fucking mad, bro, and you're tripping. And if I see you, I will punch you in the face. Nothing worse than protected fighters. Nothing. Look at Nick Ball in this bitch. I like Nick Ball, bro. Nick Ball is a rowdy fighter, bro. Nick Ball, Pit Ball. That's what he called. Pit Ball. Pit Ball, Nick Ball. You know what? Him versus Pit Bull would be a great fight.
Oh, that's stupid. But he comes in from a very low angle. He's shot because he's lower, and he jumps in.
Yeah, he's exciting. He's a little scrappy motherfucker, bro. He likes to fight. And you know what? Somebody like that will fight you all damn day. He will fight you all day. It's like, dude, this dude's still fighting, man. I'm running out of gas, and this dude's about to kick my ass. You know what I mean? Because you run out of gas, bro. Imagine a brutal marathon. That's what boxing is, a brutal marathon. Punches are thrown at you. You get tired of bobbing, weaving, slipping, ducking, dodging. So what do? You just kind of start. And then that's when and their intensity heightens because they know you're hurt or you're tired because you stop fighting, you stop moving. And then you make more of a stationary target for yourself. Their adrenaline rises. You ever notice that's how people get killed in boxing, because boxing is so intense because it's stamina, passion, adrenaline, right? And brutality all balled up into one. So when someone starts hitting you and they see and they've connected to the point where they see your legs go this way, or they see you back up or try to retreat, and then they see that, their adrenaline is going to spike. So even if they were a bit tired themselves and they see they've hurt you, that's going to be suspended because the dopamine and the cortisol and all these levels are going to drop, right? Or should I say spike, or release. And they're going to get in your ass. They're going to beat the shit out of you. Anui's, and you know what though? It's bad though. Shout out to our fallen heroes, man. Should Shakur move up in weight to attract public eye towards his raw skill set? Nah, he don't punch hard enough, and he's only going to get in there with somebody that's going to knock him out or hurt him real bad. You and Dos Santos, heavy-handed Dos Santos, a.k.a. Ghost. When he fought him, he got on his bicycle. I already knew he can't handle big bangers. He's a skilled fighter, but, it is what it is. Whyte will gas? No, I don't know. I don't think Whyte will gas. No. I don't think Whyte had that type of problem. When he was out of shape, he was. And even when, he could still compete. I don't think stamina is an issue with Whyte. I think obesity is. Conditioning is. He's not a Zili Zhang, bro. And for that matter, he's not like a Martin McCauley. Martin McCauley is 3 years younger. He's bigger. I'm very disappointed in him, and he really needs to redeem himself to come off the redemption list. He really does. Whyte looks fit this time around, though, to be fair. Yeah, I think he knows this, and I think he's here to fight the resistance. He's challenging a lot of things. The promotional company, probably the scorecards, probably the judges, probably the referee. Age, definitely. Skill, more than likely. He's fighting against a lot of things Saturday, bro. He is. Dillian Whyte, you have to be in the best shape possible, and that's why I'm happy for him. And if you guys haven't seen my fight prediction, check it out on my channel. I just dropped it, I think, like either last night or something like that, early this morning for a lot of you guys in the UK and other parts of the world. But I dropped it last night, US time, Central Standard Time. And I give a good breakdown of it. Dillian Whyte is coming in shape to upset and to show everybody that he is still the name that I think has been overlooked. And I also think, again, people talk shit about Tyson Fury, but nobody really gives Tyson Fury credit for stopping Dillian Whyte. You know what I mean? Because Tyson Fury is a very good boxer. People forget that shit. But it just shows you, no matter how good you are versus how bad people dislike you, most of the time, that will start overshadowing your boxing ability. And that's what happened with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, he stopped Dillian Whyte. But Dillian made it worse for himself because he was like, oh, well, I was shoved. Bro, you were going down anyway. That shit, to be fair, if Tyson could do it all over again, he would just and just let him fucking fall, because he would have fell. Because the way he got up, he was already out on his feet. You know what I mean? He wasn't. And then I think that's when, and I honestly think the referees shouldn't have been such bitches. See, here's the thing, man. Let boxing be what boxing is. Let boxing be what boxing is. It's brutal. People die. People are permanently damaged forever. People lose eyesight. People lose hearing. People lose cognitive, mental thinking. This is boxing. But this is the sport that we love, that we hate so much. We are some fucking sadistic bastards wanting somebody to bash each other over our heads and in the nose and in the mouth and break ribs and piss blood and all this stuff. We like that. Think about it. If you didn't like it, you wouldn't watch it. Now, some things do affect you. Like, oh, look at that cut. But you want to see it, though, don't you? You like it. So let's just be real with it. We like what it is. We like the brutality of the sport. We like to see somebody get knocked the fuck out. We like that. We are boxing fans. That's why we're here. So guess what? I think the people around the boxing, yes, the doctors, the coaches, the trainers, everybody that sees the referees, everybody that sees them, yeah, they have to have some level of responsibility, but understand, right? Let's put it this way. If a person gets drunk in a bar, you go to a bar to do what? To drink. Do you go there to get drunk? Yeah. I go there to get drunk. I ain't gonna go there to, it's a nice little, no, I'm gonna go there to get a buzz or something. And what some people call a buzz, other people's call drunk, right? So, you know what I mean? It's just like boxing. You go to see a motherfucker get knocked out, not a person that goes in there and shows a good exhibition. No, you go there, you want to see somebody get knocked out. That's the exciting part of it. That's the desired effect of it. Just like you go to a bar to get buzzed or drunk. Hey, call an Uber or Lyft. Exactly. Because they got to lift your drunk ass out of there because you've had too much, because you had a good time. Hopefully you told a few lies and had some laughs. Hopefully you got laid and you met somebody. You know what I mean? Those are ideal situations. In boxing, the same thing. When you go in there, you want to go in there and knock somebody's ass out. You want to snatch the decision away from the judges that are judging the fight, and you want to make it do what it do. That's what it is. Same thing for boxing. So it is what it is, bro. But no, I think they should let boxing be boxing. Let it be what it is. It is what it is. You know? There's big Dillian Whyte.
But it just lacked a little bit of acceleration of pace.
So here's Dillian Whyte coming out. Of course, he's the B-side. You know what I mean? He's the B-side. So big Dillian Whyte is on the scene. Here we go. Look, he's casually just stepping down with the water bottle in his hand. I want that. I like that outfit. I like all those outfits, man. All the detailed attire. The custom made sports work. Look at that. Wow, Dillian Whyte. Yeah, Dillian, he looks good, man. He looks good. Jose Safar, what's up, brother? Counter punch to you. Salute. Whyte shouldn't really be the B side, to be fair. No, he shouldn't, bro. They get, and that shows you though. That shows you that they ain't respecting him for a damn worth a damn. They ain't respecting Dillian Whyte worth a damn by throwing this man on the B side of the equation. Moses' young ass should supposed to be over there. I've always said that. I've always said that. And that just tells you this is a Moses Atoma coming out party. You're using this old guy that you think is old and worn out. I hope that's wrong. Because I love when boxing shows us that it is unadulterated. It is unscripted sometimes. It is untamed. It is totally organic, brutally organic.
Let's welcome the defending champion from Chatham, Kent, England. He was a stellar amateur and now as a professional undefeated with 12 wins, 10 of his 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome one of boxing's rising stars, the hard-hitting, reigning and defending WBO Intercontinental and WBA International Heavyweight Champion, Moses Itauma.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be fair with you guys. Here's Big Moses Atoma coming out. This is coming out party. 12 wins, 10 by KO, no losses, no draws. I'm gonna say this, and I'm just speaking 100% from the heart. That's not enough fights to be in there with somebody like Dillian Whyte. It's just not. They're pushing this kid too much. They're trying to say they're not trying to make him like Mike or compete with Mike. If they're not trying to compete with Mike, they're trying to make him like Mike. They're trying to have their own British version of Mike Tyson. No, they won't have it, him being a champion as early as Mike Tyson was, but they're trying to do something like it. You know what I'm saying? That's not enough fights. 12 fights, bro, that's not enough fights, man. Shit, you're still a prospect on that level. You should be. Moses is talking himself up bad. Moses proportions are quite odd. Short arms. He's a tall cat though, but he has fast hands. So I think he's long-legged, but he has shorter arms. Dillian Whyte has longer arms, but that doesn't mean that's a good thing for Dillian, because if he's slower, that means it takes a while for his hands to come back in position after he throw a punch versus someone that is faster with his hands, that is able to ta 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 ta, and then of course attack and defend.
I'd love to win. I'd love to get a chance to win my 2 defeats, and I'd love to fight for the world title again. I don't think I've done myself justice last time. The 3 of us here are fighters, and sometimes you can have a good camp and then last minute things until you arrive there, but you're not really there, and that I think that's how happened to me in the Fury fight. But it's what it is.
Did you just something that happened? You couldn't click.
When you're a family man and you got family and stuff and young kids and stuff and other things, it's life. Sometimes life kicks in the balls at the wrong time. That's just what it is.
Preparation on point.
Oh, for this one?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
You know he's good. You can see his shape. You know he's good. It's good. Dillian, appreciate you coming up, Dillian. Enjoy the rest of the fight week. This must be different as well for you, because it's not just Friday and Saturday, it's the whole week.
You know what? We're used to in the UK having the whole week anyway, but this is just everything's at night in it, and it's a much bigger event and stuff, and obviously different stage of our career and stuff. But
well, yeah, you guys are right. Yeah, Moses Atoma's reach is longer. You're right.
Quickly, prediction. I want to ask early.
The black person's gonna win.
the darker person.
The black person, bro.
He said black person.
Dillian, appreciate you coming. Thank you very much. Busy fight week this week, isn't it? Remember, it isn't just.
And look at Day has to do damage control from what he's saying. No, it's not small, man. It's not small. He just got long legs. I'm built like that. I don't have short arms, but I got long legs. Of course, your legs are gonna be longer than your arms. So there you go. I hate the overhype. It's wrong. No, we'll see. We'll see, you know, and hopefully Dillian can come in there with some sort of, you know, game plan that's successful in this situation, right? If Atoma comes through, you're right. He needs to be brought through correctly and at the correct pace. Moses has a bit of a chip on his shoulder, though. Unfortunately, could be his undoing. Hope not. The Tyson comparison bothers me. I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get their own version of Mike Tyson. You'll never have another fucking Mike Tyson. You'll never have another Mike. Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson from Catskill, New York. He's fucking Mike. You won't have no other Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? That's just like Mike Tyson and Moses Atoma. That's just like saying Tupac. You want DMX to be like Tupac? No. That's more like DMX is more like Ike Barabucci, and Mike Tyson's more like Tupac. But yeah, you get the comparison, right? Like you can't expect some guy to be like the other guy. Here's Moses.
Had a boxing session. After my boxing session, I went for a massage. But Francis scheduled me an interview with Sky Sports. He's like, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. I was like, alright, cool, but I'm gonna have to do it in my robe. So I'm sat there in this dark room doing this interview with Sky Sports in the robe. And I was like, I'm gonna look like such a
True superstar already.
No, that's not the impression I want to give off. Anyways, and after my massage, I trained S&C and then went home, freshened up a little bit, and now we're here.
Busy
Public
day.
work.
Busy day.
Moses, let me take it away from you for a second. Let's assume that Dillian Whyte turns up at his best. What challenges are you facing?
As in, you want literal answers. As in, like...
What does Dillian do well? What problems does he pose you?
Like, Dillian's has boxed over, I think, 230 rounds more than I have. So, with having that, bearing in mind, that brings with a lot of experience. He said it himself, like when we was doing the face-off, that I'm a young guy, but I've had loads of experience. When he means by loads of experience, although I haven't done it in the bright lights, because I haven't actually been able to, because guys are not been able to surpass the 6th round, I have experienced it in sparring. So, as much as you lot want to find out about me, I'm going into this fight finding about myself. In my sparring sessions, what I'm capable of. So that's why I got the confidence. But I don't know what I'm capable of under the bright light. So when you lot are asking me these questions, I honestly can't give you an answer. Whether it's the chin, whether it's the engine, whether it's this, when I find out, you lot are going to find out as well.
Is it hard, Moses, shutting out all that external noise? All this talk about breaking records, the talent, you're going to be the future heavyweight king. Is it hard to switch off from that? Or do you feed off of it?
I don't really know how to answer that question because I've never listened to them opinions anyway, because you lot aren't going to throw the punches for me. You lot don't wake up having to play the Moses Itauma role every day. So if you lot opinions change every single day, that doesn't mean my opinion should change of myself every single day. So like, don't get me wrong, I listen to what you lot are saying, but I only listen to that because like, okay, cool, this is your expert opinion. You might drop a little gem in there. But 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to lie, I'm just like, you're telling me something that I know already. So, when I go into the ring and you lot touting me to be the next talent, to be the next whatnot and blah, 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 it's good to hear, but it doesn't do me no favours. So I just kind of ignore it, and obviously I let you lot do your job, and then my job is obviously to do the boxing.
Do you feel that your temperament, and just explaining there how you sort of can cancel things out and just focus on yourself, it looks like it helps you so much in the ring because you seem so calm and focused under any pressure that you pick the target so well? Do you think that your personality outside the ring helps you inside? Where sometimes fighters need to be more aggressive or angry, but your calm demeanour seems to suit you.
Yes, the problem is with that, is that if you can only fight when you're angry and you wake up and you're not angry, that means your technical ability is based on how you feel, which that hasn't worked on me. That's like my best sparring session that I've had this camp was with 2 hours sleep. Like, honestly, I spent like I couldn't sleep that night and whatnot and blah blah blah. And I told him, listen, I've slept for like 2 hours, and I went in there and I had the best spar I had the whole camp. So basically, what I'm trying to say is like, I know exactly what I got to do. So it's even like if Ben goes to me and he tells me that, okay, cool, you had a trash spar. He doesn't just say that just to tell me that, okay, cool, fix up. He was gonna show me why I done it, because. Okay, you might be tired, but was your decision making on point? And if your decision making wasn't on point, why is it not on point? So I don't know. I just waffled off there, but hopefully I'm answering
It
the
made
question.
sense. It made total sense. It did make sense. Moses, final one. This is it, right? This is your new life, headlining, main events. You mentioned the Sky Sports interview. Everyone here wants to interview you or take photos of you. What's that like, that transition where before you could almost just come in, under the radar, take a couple of photos, do some interviews, and then go? Now everyone wants a piece of you. How's that?
I can still do that.
Yeah.
I still have the choice to just go.
You can just go. Yeah.
But
there's a route out.
Exactly. But I know that becoming a main event, becoming whatnot, there is that added bit of people want to get what I mean? People want to interview, people want to whatnot. And I'm just like, I get paid well to do this. So I'm like, I need to keep my end of the bargain.
I'll see you in a couple of years if that still is the same. Moses, appreciate you coming to speak to us. Thank you very much. Good luck on Saturday.
Yeah, you done me there.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, let me say this about Moses before I jump off of here. I like his mindset. A lot of people, I'm looking at the comments from both over here and over there, from the Zone and Counterpunch Boxing News. A lot of people like, he sounds stupid. No, he doesn't sound stupid. He doesn't sound stupid. I don't think that's the word to call him. Relaxed, monotoned, sure. Stupid, no. He's not a moron. You know what I mean? Because he's, he thinks about shit, and then he's like, he has a calm demeanor. He always has. I think that he doesn't want to talk up, and I think he stays safe with the whole trash talking and confidence thing, because once you start talking so much, sometimes, like I always say, like my people back home say, you let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash. You ever heard that saying? You let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash. That means you talk so much shit that you can't back up. Whatever you're saying, you can't live it up physically. You can talk, but you can't walk. And I think what Moses is doing, he's doing that, and he's being in that middle ground. He's staying calm and focused. And he doesn't want to bring too much to himself to the point where, I'm the shit. I'm the best. He has said, well, I think I have a better skill set than this guy or that guy. He said he had a better skill set than Usyk. But I have to tell people, I like the way he thinks, though. I like the choice of words that he uses. I have a couple videos, of course. I'm going to do about 10, 11 videos on Moses this week. So before the fight, of course. So we will talk more about Moses Atoma. I like his demeanor now. He is seeing the difference between, the undercard life and the headline life. It is a difference. It does demand more. Like he was saying, sports. He's like, dude, I want a massage. I don't want to do an interview. I love massages too. I want one right now. You know what I mean? So yeah, somebody tells you got to interview and sit up and say the same shit you've said to all 4 or 5 or a dozen media outlets out there, and then you got to do it again. You know what I mean? It does get tiring. You know, I'm like, dude, I said the same shit to, you know, now you got to say it to this person or this particular company or this newspaper over here. So he's learning this. So it's all a learning process for him. And I am happy for him to be a headliner because, you know, a lot of people, based on what we've seen him do, we've seen him crack guys' heads open. And I think if he can keep doing that at an elite level with top opposition guys, he should be feared and respected, and his stock is to rise. Bars. But you guys, I thank you guys for coming on. I will do the face off tomorrow because I'm running out of time. Okay, so I will do the face off tomorrow and we will see how that's going to go. And between Moses Atoma and Dillian Whyte, we will watch it together in sync. So you guys stay tuned for that. And until then, look at my videos, take a look at the fight breakdown and the fight prediction between Moses Atoma and Dillian Whyte, along with the other videos that I dropped today. Until then, you guys be blessed, and everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.